Made it to the chapter where we're finally going to write the Bottles of Beer song, which is absolutely one of my most hated songs. But it gives us an opportunity to play around with writing a function, which is going to be the main idea of this lesson. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out how to count backwards from some given number. So we're not going to always sing the entire 99 bottles. We're not going to start there. We're going to start at some number and count down to 0. So for instance, if the given number is 2, we're going to start with 2 bottles of beer, take 1 bottle down, then we're going to have 1 bottle of beer on the wall, and then when we take the last one down, we'll have no more bottles of beer on the wall, not 0 bottles. So what we're going to focus on is how to produce a list of numbers going down, how we can write a function to sing a given verse for any given number, and we're going to write first we're going to write this using a for loop, and then we're going to talk about how this can be written as a list comprehension, and then how that then turns into a map function. So very much the same thing that I've been showing, but I just keep trying to show this in different contexts, and hopefully it makes sense why this is useful. So just to give you an idea how the program should work, starting off with a -h or --help, it should show the very simple help here. We only take one option, and by default we're going to start off with 10 bottles of beer, not 99, so that we don't overwhelm the user with output. That -n or --number option should be an integer, should default to 10. If you declare it that way properly with argparse, then by default it's not going to accept something like foo as which is obviously a string that's not anywhere near to a valid integer value, but it's also not going to accept something like 2.4. We can't sing 2.4 verses. You can't have 2.4 bottles, so we can only have a whole integer value. So both of those values will be rejected by argparse if you declare it as a type int. And the same thing is that we want to make sure that we don't get a negative number. We can't sing a negative number of verses. So this is going to be an instance where I'm going to suggest you use the parser error function inside the getargs function to check that the value that you're given for --num is a valid value that you can use. So looking at our string diagram, we're going to get some optional number, and we're going to create some annoying song. By default, if there's no inputs, we're going to start with 10 bottles of beer on the wall and sing all the way down to 0 bottles. And the same with given 1, then we're going to sing 1 bottle of beer on the wall and keep going till we get to the end. So that's going to be the program. Stick with me.